What's up? Welcome back to Blazy B, where I am blazed. And I'm also B. Um, okay, so um I did a line in the sand, which was really cool. And I was like, "Ugh, I've been reading slash listening to other audiobooks as well. Um, and why not talk about them? Because it's honestly been life changing for me, not being a reader and falling asleep very easily to just the written word. It's been amazing to be able to listen, especially to use my Libby app, and it's free through the library. Yeah, I might have to wait for some things, but it also pushes me to, like, listen to other things while I'm waiting. Like, I'm still on, Court of or Throne of Court of Throne and Roses? Yikes. ACOTAR. I really wanna read that, and I was going to read it once, and then I, like, did not have time, so I was like, "No, let the other person in line go." Then I got back in line, and I'm still in line. So, oh, but through that, I was like, "Okay, well, Pride and Prejudice," mom texted me and said, "You gotta read that." And so, did actually phenomenal. I thought it was gonna be very dry. I'm obsessed with the movie, not the old one, like the Keira Knightley one, like obsessed, top 5 movies by far. And so I was like, "Okay, I could, like, play it out in my brain, like, oh, visualize the movie," and it was very just, like, word for word, which is nice. Um but, like, I wasn't gonna read that, but I was in a hiatus, why not? And it was ready to rock and roll, and I don't know, other books, like, I'm reading some other smut that people have recommended to me. Again, like, tell me your recommendations, I'm down. I whipped through the entire Bridgerton series, which was phenomenal and different than the show, which shook me, and I'm very curious how they're gonna do this in more seasons and tie in where they kinda, like, falter between the books and the show. So, um, I'm getting excited about reading by listening to it, and that is huge for me. I used to get paid to read books in school. Like, I was just not a reader. Anything, whether it be something like I would enjoy. I couldn't do it. So these audiobooks have been great. Anyways, so Brennan recommended The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and I was like, "Sweet." And so it was on, it was ready to rock, so great, and I downloaded it and listened to it on a car ride, and it was awesome. It was inspiring. There's all these self-help books. It's just like, "Me, me, 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 me," like, "You gotta do this, you gotta do this." I feel like I could be like a self-help book writer. And I don't follow all my own wisdom. Of course not. How could I? I'm a hypocrite. But like I feel like I've got good advice and self-help and like seeing things black and white and just being logical about situations and removing emotional things. I feel like I get that. Like, what more is there for me to get out of these, like, self-help things? I know there's a lot, but you know what I mean? That's what's going on in my brain, and I'm like, fuck it. Let's go for it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck sounds exactly where I need to be. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a title that grabs you and takes a hold. And it fucking did. Um I like his language because it just sounds like he's talking. He's not preaching. He's not above you. He's just a regular ass dude with some realizations that helped him. And that just feels more real, more relatable, just better than other things. But I'm down for other self-help shit too. If you know of anything, send it on. Like, Brene Brown is good. Like, I've listened to some podcasts. I really like TED Talks. I like short things. But then these books, this one was pretty short. Like, I think it was less than, I don't know, maybe like 4.5 hours. It was a quick, just to the point stuff. So I wrote down some basically the overarching themes of the entire book. And so let's go through them. Happiness comes from solving problems. I love that. Um, Struggle and problems, they're both inevitable. So you once working through problems, you're happy because 1, you've got something done. 2, you might have like learned something as you've gotten through this problem. And it's just like a check mark in your brain and it pumps you up. That's a spark of happiness. And so to choose to actually solve those problems is where people get stuck. So choose that happiness right then and there. Happiness comes from solving meaningful ones and like meaningful problems as well. Well, you know what I mean? Like problems, meaningful problems, they get deeper and deeper, different types of problems. But there is a dissatisfaction that comes with running away from these problems. Like, if you are in control of your life, you've got a lot more life to lead because you're just taking charge and deciding how you're going to fuck this pig. But you choose to run away, you're going to regret, you're going to live with shame, you're going to live with guilt, none of the things that happiness sparks from at all. So choose happiness, choose to solve your problems. You've got a limited number of fucks to give. So focus on what truly matters. Let go of the other shit that's not worth a fuck that you have to give. I I don't know. That just was like hell yeah. I I have to choose where to give my fucks. That is where, same thing of where I choose to give my energy. And if it does not serve me, then let it go. Let it go. I don't need to give a fuck about it. I don't. Give a fuck about the things you want to give a fuck about. Value in suffering and struggle. This one, it sounds very like Buddhist. He kind of gets into this like Buddhist vibe. Um, but he's not wrong. Struggle and suffering, they make you go through some shit. And usually you are solving problems within that to get out of that shit. And that's where you're giving a fuck and you're creating this happiness because you are figuring your way out and you are the person in charge of that. So there is value in what you go through in that struggle and how you're getting out of that struggle. Take responsibility. I'm a big advocate for taking responsibility of your actions. Um and he goes on to kind of do this thing that like you go a month or so just accepting fault for everything. Like maybe it wasn't your fault, but no one's admitting, so it's like you just take that blame. You take it. It's my fault. You take that responsibility for your actions. And it's quite liberating. Like, oh, I messed up. Like, now I have to learn from that. These are choosing to move and progress in life, which brings us joy. So, taking responsibility for those actions, because blaming others leads to powerlessness. Okay, let's repeat that. Blaming others leads to powerlessness. I mean, you're not taking responsibility. You're putting it on other people that probably don't need to be put on. And it's rude. It makes people look at you differently and you're just not trustworthy. So take responsibility for those actions. Like and move on from it. We are constantly moving and progressing. Just all right, heard, move on. Um the importance of saying no. You got to look out for number 1 and do things that align with you. No is a great word. Sometimes it's hard to use, sometimes it's easy to use. But you got to look at what there is going on out in the world and decide what do you want to do. And if you don't want to do something, you just have to say no. Like an opportunity, maybe. I don't know. Anything that doesn't align with who you are or what you want, your best version of yourself, either that you are creating or you're kind of still in the middle of this progress of this person. But you get to decide, does that align with me? Yes or no? And move forward in that game. All right. So there is importance in saying no. I know there's like this movement of it's not like let it go, but it's kind of like let it go. Um let them. Let them hate you. Let them walk away. Let them do this. Let them, because you have no control over other people, but you have control over your actions and what you want to do. So if you want to say yes, be my guest. If you don't want to say yes, be empowered and have that confidence enough to say no and choose yourself over that situation. Choose yourself. You can be selfish. It is okay to be selfish in life. Putting yourself first is a massive thing, and saying no to others, whew, it is it's a struggle all the time. It really is. Okay, we're keeping moving along. Accepting you're not the shit. Don't get entitled and frustrated. Accepting you're average can bring peace and allow for real growth. So you're not special. You're not like, yeah. What people have all phrases for this. You're not the shit. Um, your shit, it's not like your shit don't stank. You're not all that in a bag of chips. There's all good ones. But my mom used to say, Brittany, you're not all that. Like, remember, you're not all that. And it was like, yeah, you get this like attitude. You think you're fucking on top. You got this. That confidence is like too much. You know what I'm saying? So break that down. You're not the shit. Once you accept that you're just a basic human being, let's fucking go. Like, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna be frustrated in situations, but you get to choose how you live after that, how you decide to progress in that situation. And that's where the real growth happens. That's where you become you. So it is worth it to just sit down, be humble. You know what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. Death is the ultimate motivator. It puts life into perspective, and we use death thoughts to focus on what matters, or use death thoughts to focus on what matters. Um, I think, there is a fear of death. People have fear of death. I have really tried to not have a fear of death. I feel like it's another adventure. It's a different segment in life. It's the third act. I don't know. Um, who knows what happens after we die? Nobody does. So it could be a next round of whatever, or I could become a tree and just vibe, which is what I would ultimately like. But I think he's just saying that death is it's inevitable and it's coming, and we can use it as a motivator of time. We need to get, if you want to be, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Remember that from Sister Act 2? Hell yeah. But that's like the same. You just gotta be present. Like, we are living in this moment, so might as well do it right. Choose that happiness. Choose those ways to get through life. Like, live in this moment, because death is inevitable and we don't know where it is. So make it that motivator if that's what you've got to live for. Is the countdown, That's the final countdown. Okay, so kind of this main takeaway is like, embrace struggle, stop chasing external validation, and focus on values that bring true fulfillment. Okay? True fulfillment. Looking over number 1 right here. Looking over number 1. And life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about the right things to care about. I like that. We got to go through the struggle to pop out on the other end and be flowers. We have to bloom. We got to go through shit. We got to be lotuses. Here's some quotes that I thought were pretty darn heavy, good hitters. Okay, I got 4 of them. You can't be an important and life-changing presence for some people without also being a joke and an embarrassment to others. You can't please everybody. And don't try, cuz those aren't your people if they don't like you for everything you are, you know? Be you, be fun, be funny, be weird. I don't know, do you, but you got to find your tribe. And those other people, they're not worth it. Fuck those fucks. All right, quote number 2. Not giving a fuck does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, number 3. Who you are is defined by what you're willing to struggle for. Not wrong. Not wrong. What are you worth? Like, what's worth struggling for? That's like the question. Like, like a next position. I don't know, like look into the future. And it's like, it's hard. That's me. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard. But the value is in that struggle because, man, the happiness on the other end of doing something that is just so you slaps. All right, number 4. Maturity is what happens when one learns to only give a fuck about what's truly fuckworthy. We're all aiming for that maturity, right? So, all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. The audiobook was phenoms. I think reading the book is equally phenoms. So, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. He also had a second book, kind of in this series called Everything is Fucked. I did read that as well. I thought it was good, but it kind of, I don't even know, went a little more religious-y and kind of deeper into thing. It wasn't the vibe I was going for, but I did finish it. It was mid. But The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck really, that got me going. I was inspired to just like, I don't know, accept that struggle, accept it's gonna be hard. And it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it to go through that struggle. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it is. I just want things to be given to me. I want a man to find me in life. Like, just, I don't know, miraculously drop down and be like, you. And I'd be like, sick. It's happening. But, your life doesn't roll like that. And I choose happiness and I'm going to choose progress, and that is inherently going to come with struggle and all sorts of things, feelings, emotions. But fuck it, I give a fuck, so I'm going to do it. My life is something I give a fuck about, and I hope you give a fuck about yours. Yeah, enjoy the day. Ciao ciao for now.